News this morning, multiple explosions believed to be caused by missiles struck on the western Ukrainian city of Lviv as the country is bracing for an all-out Russian assault. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky vowed to fight absolutely to the end in strategically vital Mariupol. Lviv and the rest of the western Ukraine have been less affected by the fighting in the other parts of the country, and the city was considered to be relatively safe haven. A 10-year-old boy has died after shooting in Minneapolis apartment complex Friday night, according to police. Officers found the boy and a family member alone in the apartment. The 10-year-old was taken to a nearby hospital where he later died. No other details have been released at this time. 12 people were injured after shots were fired at a South Carolina shopping mall this weekend. Officers responded to the Columbiana Center shopping mall of the multiple people that were shot. Two are in critical condition, and as of now, there are no deaths and at least 3 people have been detained. 2 people are dead and multiple others have been shot after a mass shooting in Pittsburgh took place at an Airbnb early yesterday morning. Police say that the shooting that took place at a huge house party with nearly 200 people there, many of which were underage, along with victims who were shot, several other people were injured as they jumped out of windows in attempts to escape. Ranchers weren't the only ones facing setbacks during this week's snowstorm. Dairy farmers have also had their own set of challenges, but it doesn't help with keeping their cattle warm and dry. Dean Karski is a dairy farmer just west of Dickinson. He says he has enough barn space for his cows, but the issue is the roads were too snowpacked for the milkman to get his product. Because of this, he had to dump thousands of pounds of milk, which impacted the bottom line.
We've already dumped 11,000 pounds of milk down the drain, and it just, that's at today's market's about $2,750 you just dump down the drain. So, and with the high feed cost and labor and everything else, you can't afford to be just dumping everything down the drain.
The good news is, he says, roads are getting cleared, although he says in these situations he can't start milking until the tanks are emptied because he simply can't afford it. In our consumer alert, the FDA is investigating Lucky Charms cereals after dozens of customers complained of getting sick after eating it. The FDA has received more than 100 complaints related to Lucky Charms in 2022. Several hundred people have also posted on a food safety website complaining of nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting after eating the cereal. Minneapolis-based General Mills makes Lucky Charms, and officials say they are aware of the reports and they are taking them serious. Time now is 6:52. Time to head over to Lisa Green for a last look at your morning weather forecast. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. We want you to be careful out on that morning drive this morning. We've got some departing clouds in Fargo, so we're going to get some sunshine here soon. But the problem is all that fresh snow that's on the ground here to start off our day today. We've got snowy to icy to slushy roads across the valley, even on some of our more highly traveled roads this morning. So please be careful. If you park outside your vehicle, at least in the FM area, is going to have a fresh coating of snow on it. And then as we head through the day, the wind starts to ease up. That's our other issue. So the drifting snow will kind of begin to wane, and we'll end up with some better conditions coming our way. But certainly going to be a tough one this morning. Here's a look at our current conditions. 21 degrees now in Fargo. Look at our feels like number 5. That's our wind chill here because we're factoring in winds out of the northwest at 23 miles per hour, but gusts are getting into the 30s, a 33 mile per hour gust at the moment. So visibility going to be down in open areas with gusts that strong. And of course, it's going to feel much colder when you step outside today too. Grand Forks, we've had some fresh snow for you too. As we're taking a look at the Red River there, we're looking at 22 degrees right now. We are seeing wind gusts there similar range here. North-northwest wind 22 miles per hour with that gust to 32 miles per hour. And again, it feels like 6 degrees right now. So it's a frigid one. Radar and satellite map quieting down. There are still some flakes in our eastern viewing area. You can see just a couple of light blue returns showing up. Of course, this is getting farther away from the radar site, but still getting some snow in places like Bemidji. And our winds going to once again maintain that direction out of the northwest. So cold air will just continue to flow in today. And we've got steady speeds in the teens and 20s with those gusts that are a little bit higher, especially in the southern valley. Let's take a look. A gust to 40 in Detroit Lakes, a 37 mile per hour gust in Fergus Falls, and also down toward Oaks, 22 miles per hour your gust there. So bus stop doesn't necessarily look so bad. A little cold here this morning, but we've got to factor in that wind. It's going to be chilly for the kids out at the bus stop with wind chills closer to 0 this morning. This afternoon, only warming up to about 32 degrees. We do get some sunshine at least, but the wind, it'll still be breezy. Perhaps not as intense as this morning, but still some strong winds. Here's a look at our planner for this week. Active weather. Another system moves in late Tuesday and into Wednesday. We're going to have some wind picking up. Ahead of that, Thursday's the day that looks quieter during the work week this week. And we're warming up toward the weekend, but that comes with another system that could bring us some rain, some thunderstorms even for some of us, especially in the southeast it looks like right now, and that potential for a changeover to snow on Sunday. So some very active weather here as we're heading into yet another week with snowfall potential and another morning where we have to watch out on the roads.
Well, thank you so much, Lisa. Well, and that snow that fell Sunday and throughout the night was caused by several counties on the eastern part of the state to fall under travel alerts. Right now, that includes Cass County, Grand Forks, Griggs, Walsh, and Pembina counties as well. The Valley Today's JC Dodd. She joins us live with a current look at what we're seeing out there. Good morning, JC.
Good morning, Phoenix. I'm just north of Fargo on I-94, and I will tell you it is brutal out here, both on the roads and just standing. It is very cold, very frigid, and like Lisa was saying, extremely windy. Now, I'm just north of the Metro on I-94, and this is a frontage road. You can see one lane is completely still snow covered. That's because a plow has yet to come through on this particular frontage road north of the Metro. But this one lane that is cleared, very icy. So no matter where you're traveling this morning, whether it's on the interstates, the highways, or see they're taking it slow behind me, or in town, I've been everywhere this morning, and it is rough no matter what. This wind has been blowing that snow consistently, very icy. I cannot keep my hood up. Very cold, icy. I cannot believe that it's April. It feels like it is February. So when you're heading out the door this morning, make sure you are taking things slow. You're giving yourself time. Make sure you give yourself room between you and the car in front of you, because I had a few slide-throughs of stoplights earlier this morning. It's very icy, so just be careful out on those roads.
Some very good advice there, JC. Thank you so much. Some say the cost of beauty can be high, and in the case of long fingernails, that could end up being a health risk. Long nails could leave you vulnerable to fungus and bacteria that can get trapped underneath. One study even found an antibiotic-resistant bacteria that can cause serious infections in hospitals. Researchers say that you can transfer the bacteria into your system by scratching yourself, picking your nose, or sucking on your fingers. A former advisor to former President Donald Trump has been asked by a federal judge to dismiss his criminal contempt of Congress case. Steve Bannon is claiming the congressional subpoena he received was invalid because of the makeup of the House Select Committee investigating January 6th, and argued that he was targeted to send a message. Bannon also argued that his actions were necessary in order to protect the former president's ability to shield information under executive privilege claims. SpaceX had a successful satellite launch from Vandenberg Space Force in California, but what was launched is somewhat of a mystery. The aerospace company launched a Renaissance Office spy satellite with some pretty secretive activity and payload on board. There is no public information about the satellite or what it tasked was doing once it reaches orbit. SpaceX even ended their broadcast faster than usual due to the top secret nature of the project. The FDA can now regulate vape products that are marked illegally. Vaping companies have previously used a loophole in the form of nicotine in their products. They often switch the source of the nicotine in vape products to synthetic to get around regulators and keep their products on store shelves, but that loophole is now closed. Anyone who makes or sells non-tobacco nicotine must comply with FDA regulations. It's a day that some of you may have been putting off, but today is the final day to submit your taxes on time. This year is actually 3 days later than the usual April 15th deadline. Easter Monday is not a federal holiday, so it's important to have your return postmarked before midnight. The IRS is urging Americans to file their returns electronically because it is currently taking up to 6 months to process a paper return. And a heads up for drivers this morning, 10th Street South in Fargo will be closed from 12th to 13th Avenues. Plus, traffic on 13th Avenue will be reduced to one lane between 10th and University Drive. The closures will be in place for about 10 days as workers replace sewer service in that area. Well, today's show and CBS Mornings are just about to start, but the Valley Today rolls on. For more live up-to-date minute news and weather coming right up now on the Fargo CW. Hope you have yourself a great day. We'll see you right back here tomorrow morning.